From WLWT, this is Let's Talk Cincy, presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Hello everyone, I'm Curtis Fuller and welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. Coming up today, I have a story of a documentary in the works about one of the oldest living jazz musicians and the Cincinnati connection to that project. But first, since 1989, the Black Family Reunion has attracted hundreds of thousands of people, and it remains a signature event for the city of Cincinnati. And here with me now is the executive director for the BFR, Tracy Artis, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yes, since 1989. It's hard to believe it's been going strong that long.
It has.
And we are now at the doorstep of another year, huh?
Very excited about it. Our theme this year is everlasting endurance, and it speaks to us as a people, our culture, our faith, our heritage. So very excited about it, and it's going to be 4 days of some amazing events to help uplift, strengthen, and encourage the family.
It starts on a Thursday night with a well-known person. Talk a little bit about that and the rest of the agenda. Dr.
Bernice King will be here from Atlanta, Georgia, the daughter of Martin Luther King. I started a series a couple years ago called BFR Speaks, and you will be there to moderate the event, so very excited to have you. Bernice King has continued the legacy of her late great father, Martin Luther King. She is the president of the Martin Luther King Nonviolent Center for Social Change in Atlanta. And along with her siblings, 2 of which have went on, they carried on a rich legacy of not just their father, but their mother. So it's her first time being a part of the Black Family Reunion, so we're excited to have her on Thursday. On Friday, we'll be on Fountain Square. A phenomenal woman, Cynthia Booth, a leader here in our city, and the president of Emerge, a new business venture for Ms. Booth. She'll be our keynote speaker at the breakfast presented by Fifth Third Bank. Of course, TriHealth has returned as our presenting sponsor, Grow Community, our co-presenting sponsor. We'll be honoring Jackie Taggart Boyd at the BFR Lounge this year. Also a new venture we've had for the last couple years. You were honored there last year. It's just a way for us to spotlight people in our community who are change agents, and we're better because of people like Curtis Fuller and Jackie Taggart Boyd and Lincoln Ware and others that have been honored there. Our college tour also will take off right from Fountain Square while we're at the breakfast. 30 students will go to Cincinnati State, Northern Kentucky University, Miami University, and University of Cincinnati. We want to make sure that we have a holistic approach for the family. There'll be something in the park for everyone. Our parade has moved downtown on the Banks to Marion Way. So we're just excited about all that the weekend has to offer, all that the 4 days have to offer, and just asking everyone to come out this year to support.
With so much going on in the city and the community, obviously the elephant in the room is the safety element.
Right.
It's always been a safe event.
Yes.
I mean, you think about how many years it's taken place.
Yeah.
But just talk about, because that is not something that is an afterthought.
Right. That's something that's well thought out and planned. We have to have a 3-tier security plan, and it starts with the City of Cincinnati Special Events Unit. We work closely with them every year, and with every chief of police that's been here in the city to ensure our safety. Mayor Avtab Purifal is standing with us this year to make sure that we have even more security that will assist. We also have to hire a private security firm, and thank God for my pastor, Freddie Pifus, who is leading the charge to bring together clergy from all over the city. And they met recently just to talk about coming into the park and being that extra layer of security for us. They'll just be walking the park Saturday and Sunday. So I feel very safe and secure, and I know that the city will turn out and the city will support us.
You mentioned Bernice King. We can't go to talk about the BFR without talking about its founder.
Yes.
Of course, that's the late Dr. Dorothy Height.
Dr. Dorothy Height, a phenomenal woman. Had the opportunity to meet her once. I was an invited guest to the White House for Black Music Month one year, and there she was. And she knew my mom, the late great mayor of the village of Woodlawn, Susan Farley. And when I told her I was from Cincinnati, she said, I was just there speaking. I said, at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Woodlawn, my mother's church. And so we made the connection that day. And she asked me that day, Curtis, are you involved with the Black Family Reunion in Cincinnati? And I told her that I attend the Black Family Reunion. She said, you need to get involved. And little did I know that one of my sheroes, Cassandra Robinson, would contact me some years later and ask if she could pass the torch to me. I stand on her shoulders and the shoulders of Dr. Dorothy Height. The National Council of Negro Women local chapter, a phenomenal chapter. They're still very much involved and have a pavilion in the park. Dr. Height had a vision to make sure that everyone knew that the Black family was a solid unit. It may not look like someone else's unit. It may be a grandmother raising her grandkids. It may be a single mom like mine raising her kids, but the Black family is still here alive and strong.
Yeah. As we get ready to wrap up, I want to show a list of all the things coming up for information about Everlasting Endurance coming up August 14th through the 17th. A big thank you to you, too, Tracy, for taking over this event and making it very, very good for this city. Thank you very much.
Thank
all right,
you.
and I'll see you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. With me now is Lamont Wilson. He is the co-founder of the Cincinnati Major Taylor Cycling Club to talk about a new event to coincide, actually, with the 2025 BFR. And welcome back to the program. Yeah, you've been on here before. First, we should tell people about the Major Taylor Cycling Program if they don't know about the club.
Yes. The club here in Cincinnati was formed in 2018, and it was designed to have a platform for people in the city to be able to ride. Most of the clubs are urban, suburban riding groups, and we felt that there was a need for the community inside the city. And one of our things is that we try and embrace all types of riders from any persuasion, etc., religion, all those things. We just want to go out and have fun and have riding as a form of fitness.
And people may wonder where the name Major Taylor, this is named after really a super athletic person from years back. Talk briefly about who Major Taylor was.
Yes, Major Taylor was the world champion of cycling, speed racing, in 1899. He became world champion. And he became world champion before he became American champion. One of the reasons why he wasn't able to become the American champion, there was issues with him being able to race in certain races around the country, being omitted from it. So once he got the world notoriety by winning in 1899, then everyone wanted to see him here in the States, and he did the same thing here. So he's one of our first world champions. Got lost in translation through history and time, but a great man overall.
And there are these cycling clubs all over. I think you were telling me about 100 now around the country. This event that will take place to coincide with the Black Family Reunion is great because it's a fundraiser, but in addition, it is an added attraction to what will be taking place now. By the way.
Yes, we'll have some of the other Major Taylor clubs in the region come into Cincinnati and ride with us. We'll have some of the local riders here. So we're hoping to have, by being the first event, that we'll have a good turnout. So it's all hands on deck for all our club members to get out and try and support and make this a very good event.
And I said it's a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser for the club.
Correct. For the club, and we wish to donate to the ALS Foundation. The local ALS Foundation is one of the things we want to do in recognition of a dear friend of ours, Mr. Jim Klingman. So we look forward to the turnout, and hopefully we will be able to have fun, break bread, and enjoy the day. We will pass back and forth past the Black Family Reunion too, so we won't be able to stop because we will be on the road, but we will pass them.
and it's open to anyone who enjoys cycling. You said there are 3 different levels that you could get involved in. Huh?
Correct. There's a family ride, we call it. It's about 15 miles. We'll be starting all the rides from the Lunken Pavilion. And then that ride will come into the city and go back out to that. There'll be a 40-mile that will cross over the river back and forth, mostly flat to rolling. I put that out there because some people say Cincinnati's hilly. They don't want to get on these hills very much. Right. And then there's, for those more endurance riders, there's a 62-mile ride as well. So we have something to meet everybody, yes.
15, 40, and 60?
62.
Well, where's the ride for me, like 2 miles?
I would say you'll be amazed at how far you can go on the bike. 15 miles is nothing on the bicycle. Right. You get a chance to see the city in a different perspective. It's freeing to be out on the road, feeling the wind in your hair. It's just a wonderful time to be on a bicycle.
Yeah, well, I don't have any more hair. So, all right, so this is a wonderful event that is starting this year. Hopefully will continue for many more. Fundraiser. We have the information up there now. For more information, you can contact that website, MajorTaylorCincy.com. It's always good to see you.
Yes, good to see you as well. Thank you for having us.
We'll be back in a moment. And welcome back, everyone. An exciting project is in the works about one of the oldest living jazz musicians, vibraphonist Terry Gibbs. One of the leading people involved with the effort to produce this documentary about the legendary musician is a jazz enthusiast from right here in Cincinnati.
Well, I was first working with a gentleman out east, Neil Weiss at Whaling City Sound. He owns that record label. And when I was doing another project, it came up that he had some tracks from Terry. And I listened to those tracks and I was just completely blown away by Terry's facility and energy and joy and spirit. The way he played was unbelievable. I ended up going to Terry's 100th birthday party out in LA. And at that party, his son, we had talked very informally about, you know, someday there should be a documentary about your dad. I mean, he's a living jazz history.
Big fan of early jazz players, and so Terry Gibbs is considered as one of the big four, along with Milt Jackson, Red Norval, and Lionel Hampton. And just coming across different video footage, thank God for the internet and YouTube, of him playing. And every once in a while I come across footage of, he's primarily a two-mallet player. I love two-mallet players. I'm mostly a four-mallet player, but I love two-mallet players to try to have that type of flexibility and dexterity of one of the big four like Terry Gibbs to improve on my playing or be inspired on my playing.
His 101st birthday will be coming up October 13th of this year. And he was playing up till age 92. And now he's continued by having this show on Facebook. He continues, though he doesn't play anymore, he wants to educate the world about jazz, particularly his own history with jazz, which is almost the same thing because he played with everybody. The joke is that you should never ask Terry who he's played with. You should just ask him who he hasn't played with, because it's a shorter list. I mean, if you do ask who he played with, It was, Count Basie, Sarah Vaughan, Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Stan Kenton, Woody Herman, Benny Goodman.
The icons.
Ella Fitzgerald. And also, he very briefly had an encounter with people like Billie Holiday, where she asked him to play The Man I Love. And he did it at this gig, and she was there, and she kissed him on the cheek afterwards. I mean, to have been kissed by Billie Holiday, that alone puts you in jazz history, But then there are many stories similar to that where, Charlie Parker came in and sat in with his group. And after Charlie Parker played, 20 choruses, Terry pretended to tie his shoe and hide under the vibes because he didn't want to follow Bird. So he looks over at the piano player. Piano player's hiding under the piano. Nobody wanted to follow Charlie Parker. There's a number of reasons that I wanted to include Cincinnati in this. And that's because Cincinnati has an incredible jazz scene. There are players here of international quality. I put them back to back with many of the greats. And I feel like that it's time for Cincinnati to be put on the map relative to jazz. And so today, even just on a relatively obscure instrument, I don't think of it as that, but to other people, they often don't know what is a vibraphone, But to have a couple people right here in Cincinnati, like Erwin Stuckey from SCPA, who's a great jazz vibraphonist and jazz historian, and then Josh Strange, who plays the clubs all over Cincinnati. And to have them here is a gift to the city. And it's also an education, not just in terms of what they play in the jazz repertoire, but about the instrument, because people have heard it all their lives. They just don't know it.
Oh yeah, Terry is one of those legendary cats. He's kind of, in a lot of ways, he's a piece of glue between eras, between many legends, and obviously very big with bebop, but also very big with the swing. And he's still kicking today, which means he's connected even to people like me, you know what I'm saying? So he's a bridge in a lot of ways, and he's a legend.
Terry used to, many people my age would remember him performing on television a lot. When you and I talked, you think of Lionel Hampton and you would think of Terry Gibbs as those two iconic names who we would see on TV all the time back then.
What was rare about Terry was that he was on television quite a bit. For instance, he was on The Tonight Show when Steve Allen was doing it. Terry was the musical director. So he was on that. He was on something, the Regis Philbin original show. He was on that, and Regis loved him. I mean, it was a short-lived show, but they were very close. And so Terry had a lot of television connections, as well as a lot of friends in the entertainment industry outside of jazz, like Mel Brooks, and the entire Rat Pack would come out to see his gigs. And for people who don't know who the Rat Pack is, that was Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra. How could I forget Frank Sinatra? And also Joey Bishop. There were a few rotations, I think, in and out of that group. But they would come to see his Dream Band play. And most recently, in just this past year, Terry released through Whaling City Sound in New Bedford, Massachusetts, he released the lost tapes. These were tapes that were recorded live at a club in 1959, and they're perfect. The guy that did it was a genius in terms of recording live performances. This CD, it's only on CD, but it's amazing. The sound quality is phenomenal. So, but back to your question about television. In addition to Steve Allen, where he was actually the musical director, he was on the Johnny Carson show later with Buddy DeFranco as a guest. And they played these just always at double or triple speed duets, just the two of them sometimes.
Right.
Or they'd play with, you know, the Johnny Carson
With
band.
the band.
That-
When do you hope to have this complete?
Well, there's a number of answers to that. There's the realistic answer. There's the extremely optimistic answer. I'll start with that one. I want to start with optimism because that's how Terry thinks. It's always about what's fun, what's going to be great. And that would be on his 101st birthday, October 13th. I would like to go back to Cincinnati for just a moment, if that's okay.
Yeah.
In addition to being what I consider a top-notch jazz town with all the great clubs and the great players here, this was a total coincidence that I didn't find out till halfway through interviewing people in New York, and that is that this is under the auspices of Brad Hammer Productions. Well, Brad is a graduate of CCM, their film department. So that was a total coincidence because I called him primarily because he had some good credits that I thought would be something he could put toward making this an excellent program. But also, he was within 15 minutes of Terry's house.
It's a great story. It's a great story. It is a great story, and I look forward to seeing the final project, and of course, we'll keep you updated on it. Well, that does it for the program today. Thanks for watching. I'm Curtis Fuller. I'll see you next time for another edition of Let's Talk Cincy. Until then, have a good day and a better day tomorrow.